So this could literally destroy your retirement opportunities because it's just crazy, crazy, crazy numbers. What am I talking about? Well, let me ask you this. What does this sound like to you? $1,740 a month, $1,400 a month, $1,280 a month. How about $1,538? Does that sound like a house payment? Guess what? Car payments. Are you kidding me? Who can afford a car with a car payment like that? So I just want to talk about this for a second because this is crazy, and we have discussed it before on this channel in the past. I have, at least, because cars are something everybody needs, right? If you work, you have a life, you have a family, you need a car, you need something reliable. But people overinflate their need for the kind of car they need to have. And I'll give you a very popular example, and I'm going to use it as my example as we talk further. Pickup trucks. When was the last time you actually used a pickup truck and needed it? But yet they are very, very, very popular, and they are very expensive. And I'm not talking about, just a little bit above average expensive. I'm talking about really expensive. So we're going to dive into some of those numbers. But it just astounds me that people are fine with a car payment as big as a house payment. One of those numbers in there actually was the lowest number, the $1,280, was still more than my house payment before I sold my property. So it's just ridiculous to spend that kind of money for a car. And we're talking about long-term type of payments because that's how the numbers get so crazy. Because some of these places will finance you for like 10 years on cars, because that's the only way that any fool would spend $100,000 on a car, is if they could finance it out for 10 years. And most people don't use the best case scenario, which I'm also going to get into in just a second. Okay, so I checked my credit union that I used to buy most of my cars and have in the past. And right now their rates run for 36 months, 5.5. Anywhere from 37 to 78 months is 5.5 as well. And then if you go over 79 months to 84 months, which is 7 years, it jumps up to 7%. Now, that's for new cars. Used cars get a whole lot fussier than that. But let's talk about new, because people are still buying these new cars based on those prices. And so here I'm going to start and talk about pickup trucks specifically because it's one of the more popular vehicles that I see in the parking lot where I work. I have nothing against any of these trucks or any people that buy them. I just don't think most people need a pickup truck when they buy one. They just like the aesthetics, and that's cool. I like SUVs. I prefer sportier ones. But either way, there's better ways to buy than to buy new. So right now, a GMC Sierra 1500 is averaging starting price $46,000. For a Toyota Tundra, the starting price is $4,400. For a Dodge Ram 1500, $45,000. And for a Ford F-150, the standard XL model starts at $38K. Now, these are the prices of a extended cab, like a quad cab, because that seems to be the most popular ways to go. You very rarely see a standard pickup truck anymore with no extra cab attached, and those you can get into the low 30s. I did see some of those starting at, some of them at 29. Or if you want to buy those little Tonka trucks type pickup trucks, like what used to be a Ford Ranger and the GMC, whatever it was. Ford's brought some of those back in different versions, and Toyota's got a smaller version truck. So you can probably get into those a little bit cheaper than this, but I'm talking standard size pickup trucks. Now, the Ford F-150 has been one of the most favorite trucks for a very long time. So I'm going to use it as an example for these, and I'm not picking on Ford by any means. If you like Ford and you want one, buy one. That's your money. You do what you want to do with it. But to me, you might as well put it in a campfire and burn it up. You'll have more fun. Especially if you don't ever use a pickup truck for anything. I mean, literally, it's a pickup truck used to be for work. That's why I think it's kind of funny. Anyway, right now, one of the most popular models that Ford sells is the Lariat. That's basically a spruced up quad cab. Those start at $63,000. The next most popular is the King Ranch version of the F-150, and that is a little bit more spruced up version, and it goes at $75,000. So I'm going to use that one as the baseline, the 75K, because I did the math on that, and it was just because it's an easier number to work with than 63,000. Anyway, let's assume that, and I used Illinois taxes to figure out this rate. If you can get out the door for 81,000, you did all right, because the tax rate gets you just above 80, and then there's license and title and switching plates, another $400 or $500. So I'm just assuming that you got out the door at 81K. If you put 20% down, which is pretty good, that's going to get you to a financing amount of $64,800. That, with good credit, at 84 months, which would be 7% at my credit union, that would be almost $1,000 a month for that payment for 7 years. 7 years. That's why they call it buyer's remorse. As soon as you get sick of those payments, you wish you'd never bought this car. It's ridiculous. Now, that's best case scenario. That's somebody coming in, putting in 20% down and getting basically out the door without any high-end attachments and add-ons that the dealers try to use. And the way they sell you on this crap, and the way everybody gets duped, is because they go, well, what kind of a payment can you afford? Well, if I can get you into that car for that kind of a payment, would you buy this car today? Would you drive it home today? And people are just silly, and they say yes. But if you just come in and only can put 10% down, you're now financing a whole lot more than $64,000. You're up to $72,500, and your payment jumps to $1,095. So $1,100 is not out of the question for this kind of a car, and that's with 10% down. And that's what people don't understand as well, that I think, at least from my assumptions and what I've seen, is people don't understand that every dime less than 20% down can affect your rate. So the amount of finance versus value affects the rate of the loan, no matter how good your credit is. Now, these rates that I ran were based on prime credit, not above or sub, just prime, because most people qualify for prime. That means you can if you can get anybody to finance you on this kind of a car, I would guess you probably got at least prime, which is 661 up to 780. And if you go through the popular, I went through to bank rates today, and their numbers are a whole lot worse than 7% for most people. But they can be done. So what's the moral of this story? First off, if you're anywhere close to retirement and you're in your one way up to that point, you have got to get rid of these car payments. I don't care how you do them. It's ridiculous to have a car payment that big, if it's that big. Where I got these other numbers for car payments was from watching some shorts, and they were walking through an Audi dealer and asking people that worked there what their car payments were. And I was like, who can afford to spend $1,700 a month on one car? And this gentleman said, that's one car, and then my wife's car is another, $1,250, something like that. Ridiculous money to spend on car payments, and let alone to have two of them. Can you imagine? Now, we haven't even factored in insurance on new cars. I mean, you're talking about hundreds of dollars more a month per car. So, if you're running up to retirement, again, get these cars either sold or paid off as quick as you can. There's lots of ways that you can use clever banking and that kind of stuff, which I'm going to talk about in another video. I'm working out the logistics to make sure I get all the information proper. But you can pay these things off a lot quicker. My advice to anybody otherwise is this. And I'm no expert on money, except for I know when stupid money is being spent, okay? And having $1,000 a month car payments is stupid. Especially when you got people that complain that they can't save, and then they have a car payment that's $1,000. But buy used, buy pre-owned certified if you can afford it, and if you can find what you want with the right mileage and it's certified, at least you get some warranty with it. And then otherwise, just buy used and buy an aftermarket warranty extension. The credit union that I use, sells them when you get your loan. They offer to sell you an extended warranty, and it's very well done. It's very inexpensive compared to what you pay at the dealer, and they cover everything. I had a car that basically was turned into a money pit, and thankfully I bought that warranty. It cost me $2,200 for a 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty through my credit union, and that car ended up, like I said, being a money pit, and that warranty company spent over $20,000 on that car to make it right, and then I got rid of it as quick as I could. So check with your banker to see if they offer. They're usually cheaper than what you can get for a dealer, and they're usually just as good a coverage, if not better. So don't pay extended warranties from the dealer if you can avoid it. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time.